there's that $8 to $9.5 million range. That's huge this year. You got players like Martial, Ings, Jimenez, Firmino, Jesus. There's a lot of players in that $8 to $9.5 million range, £1 million range that just are really enticing. So, Taz, you wanna go first? Tell me who you're thinking about in that range right there.
Yeah, as previously discussed, I'm not considering Jesus because Aguero's the favorite in that discussion. Only the only time I consider Jesus is if Aguero gets injured again, and Jesus was like a nailed on striker for Man City. But in terms of the other strikers, some of the ones I'm looking at is Werner, Martial, Ings, and Jimenez. Werner, Chelsea are close to possibly signing Havertz, and already have signed Ziyech, adding to an informed Pulisic from attacking lineup is, it's very enticing to get him. He's probably gonna be the main guy starting up front. He's the guy who can, play, with the wingers really fluidly, and I can see him picking up assists as well as goals. Right now, he's the most owned, highest owned forward in FPL with 38%. It's just at that price. He's not priced as a premium. He's right below there, so it's kind of hard not to risk it on him because if he does come out hot, you could totally see him rising in price to a premium values, and at that point you're losing on much more than just having him and having him flunk. If like 40% of everyone playing has him, that's something to really consider. But then even then, Martial I think is my favorite second option for Man United. He's nailed on to start, in a striker spot. Last season he had like 6.25 points per game, outscoring both Ings and Jimenez, even with having less bonus points. So that's my second best option in terms of that budget of $8 to $9.5 million range. Deadly, he's at the top of the deadly Man United attack, which also with like a lot of premium options in midfield. You might want to go for Man United or Liverpool or even Alba from Arsenal, and you can't really afford Fernandes. So putting Martial at the striker is a great pick.
Yeah, man, makes sense. Gash, what do you think about that, man?
I agree with most of what Taz said there. I do think Werner is going to be like kind of the maybe one of the key components of the Chelsea attack, but maybe the key man as well. I do still have my reservations about him in terms of I think we kind of touched upon this last time about him typically playing off the second striker, and I don't know what Lampard is planning on, but it kind of seems like he's planning on playing him as a lone striker. So kind of just keeping an eye on that. I do think I'm still going to have him in my game week 1 team. So I will say that I'm, still pretty certain he's going to adapt well. It's just kind of something to, think about as it goes. And then just a little shout out to Danny Ings and Raul Jimenez, who were both extremely consistent last season, and I think are 2 other really viable options in that price range as well. For a little bit cheaper than Werner, you could save some money and also have players who are proven Premier League goal scorers. As of right now, I still do have Ings in my team just because of like the great finisher that he is, but I can certainly see an argument for Jimenez in that same spot. So I think there are a lot of budget forwards, not necessarily budget forwards, but maybe a little bit cheaper than premium forwards here that can be really good enablers to help build that strong midfield and maybe even an extra premium defender or something.
Yeah, C4.
I feel like it's kind of weird this year. Like you have from the 9.5 to the 8.5 range, you have 7 options. I think out of the 7, really, I would only consider 5 of them. Like Werner, obviously, I think he's in all of our teams at this point. Firmino, I think, unless he has a price drop, there's no point considering. Jesus, no point considering, as we touched on with the Aguero playing time issue. Martial, personally, I don't think it's worth using the money up top for a Man U asset. I'd rather use money in midfield for a Man U asset. Lacazette, I wouldn't bring in. And so then really to me, it comes down again to Ings and Jimenez. And we were having this conversation, I think, last week before the show of, do you really expect Danny Ings to outperform what he did last year? To me, the answer is no. And when you look at, what he topped out at, that's kind of like Jimenez's average season FPL. So why would you take that risk that Ings is going to have another career-setting or career-tying season when you could just have Jimenez for the exact same price and he'll perform consistently. I don't see any reason to have Danny Ings this year. I think it's Jimenez and Werner in that price bracket, but that's just me.
Chaz?
All right, yeah, no, I kind of agree with that. I would consider Jimenez over Ings too, even though Southampton have finished hot. The Wolves are just considered a much better team. And once Southampton, they are starting off the season with some good fixtures, but once they start running into some tougher fixtures, Ings will drop off, I believe. Jimenez he's there, the Wolves' go-to guy at forward. You're never gonna have to worry about him not getting playing time. He also, scores some of the game-winning goals. He scored 33 bonus points last season, which is a pretty big chunk for a forward. And after, we'll start off with 2 tough fixtures, but after game week 3 to game week 10, they have one of the easiest fixtures according to the fixture difficulty rating system provided by FPL Upside. And that's when I would look, if you do go with another premium striker, that's when I would look to maybe possibly transfer Jimenez, and if your first premium striker is not working out.